The sportsbooks cheat you, but it's not because they know the final score of the game or they control the outcome. It's because they are constantly giving you terribly priced lines disguised as good ones, and they're banking on you not being able to tell the difference because you don't know about implied probability. This and the hold are the two most important things that sportsbooks have to make money off sports bettors and take advantage of them. If you open the sportsbook app, you'll typically see two types of lines. One for money line, which has negative odds like minus 150 for favorites, meaning you have to risk $150 to win 100, and positive odds for underdogs like plus 200, which means you have to risk $100 to win 200. The other set of odds are for spread bets, which is usually around minus 110 on each side. Let's say you flip a coin. You know you have 1-to-1 odds for it landing on either heads or tails. And since you have a 50% chance, you would think that, hey, even money or plus 100 would be a fair bet, meaning that if you wanted heads at plus 100, you would risk $1, and if you win, you would win another dollar, and if you lose, you would lose $1. But what if I gave you heads for minus 150 odds? Which means in this scenario, if you're wrong, you lose $1.50, and if you're right, you only win $1. Well, you would know that's a dumb bet because the payout doesn't match the probability of this coin landing on heads. The sportsbooks do this to you all the time. And to catch this, you have to know how to calculate this, or at least know how to get the answer of what the implied probability is. Now, I'm going to walk you through this and show you the math. And if you're not a math person, that is okay. You can literally just Google odds calculator, and there are a bunch of free ones, and they'll have a probability section. You just plug the numbers in, you'll be good to go. But let's walk through it. So to calculate the implied probability for negative odds like minus 150, you take the odds number divided by 100 plus the odds number. So in this case, you're taking 150 divided by 100 plus 150, or 100 divided by 250, which gives you 60%. So in my coin flip bet, I'm saying that there's a 60% chance it's going to land on heads when we know that it's only a 50% chance of it landing on heads. If you take a bet that's priced at a higher probability than what the truth is, that means that you are taking a lower payout, or the book is overcharging you. And this is a bad bet because over time, this adds up. To calculate the implied probability for a positive odds, i.e. an underdog, you take 100 divided by the odds plus 100. So let's look at a real life example. NFL playoffs, and the Rams are playing the Lions, and the Rams are plus 150 underdogs. So the implied probability would be 100 divided by 100 plus 150, or 40%. So if you think the Rams have more than a 40% chance of winning this game, then you should take this bet. It's a good bet, and we call that positive expected value, or positive EV. And positive EV just means that the book is saying there's a lower probability of this thing happening than what you believe, and therefore they're giving you a higher payout than they should. And going back to our coin flip example, remember minus 150 was a terrible bet because I'm saying there's a 60% chance of the coin landing on heads when we know it's only 50%. And so I'm saying there's a higher probability than what the truth is, and that's a negative EV bet, or negative expected value. Now, you can also calculate EV with spreads, but it's a little different, and we'll talk about that in a later video. Now, just because the Rams are listed as a 40% chance to win the game does not mean the book thinks the Lions have a 60% chance to win the game. The Lions are listed at minus 180 odds, which if you do the math means they are giving a 64% implied probability to win that game. Now, you may be thinking, hold up, if the Rams are 40% and the Lions are 64%, how can that be? That doesn't equal 100. And if you think about it, remember earlier I said spreads are minus 110. Well, if 110 odds equals 52.4% implied probability, how can both teams have a 52% chance of covering the same number on a spread? They don't, right? This is why it's implied probability and not the true probability. And the reason the books have these numbers equal more than 100 is because of what we call the hold. It is the biggest way sports books make their money, and we're going to talk about that in this series too. But for now, just understand that the implied probability can be calculated by converting the odds. The whole game of sports betting is making good bets, i.e. positive EV bets, and avoiding bad bets, i.e. negative EV bets. If you do this, I promise you'll find yourself being more selective on your bets, making smarter bets, and therefore winning more money in the long run over your betting career. Now, of course, there's no real way to know the true probability of a game, right? This is why we play the game. Upsets happen all the time. And so what professionals do is they rely on their models and data to predict the outcome of a game and use that as their source of truth. So for instance, we use Ken Palm's model for college basketball as our source of truth for what a team's chances of actually winning the game, and then line shop to see where we can find some discrepancies in our favor. The other point I want to mention is don't think a certain spread automatically equals the same money line odds and therefore the same implied probability. So look at this example. We have 3 teams all at the line of 1.5. You can see the money line odds for each team is actually different. And this is why you want to shop around and make sure you're doing the calculations on your own to see if a bet truly is positive EV or negative EV. But the take home point here is if you start converting odds into implied probabilities, you're going to have a better conceptual grasp on what's a good bet and what's a bad bet. And again, it's very simple. If you make positive EV bets a habit and avoiding negative EV bets a habit, you will be making smarter bets, and over the long run, you will win more money. So as always, I hope this helps and good luck. And if you like this kind of content, let us know by giving us a like and subscribe. That'll let us know to make more of these types of videos around the basics of sports betting.